And we are back. And I think we just finished watching the best film of 2024, The Substance, rated R with a runtime of 2 hours and 21 minutes. This comes to us from writer-director Coralie Fargeat and is currently streaming on Mubi, but to buy rent on Prime. This stars Demi Moore as Elisabeth Sparkle, a actress of a certain age who is now kind of in the vein of like those old Jane Fonda aerobicized videos, right? She's this health.
She's definitely following that career trajectory where she's was a great movie actress, and now she's sort of, I guess, aged out of regular movie roles, and now she's doing fitness stuff.
Right. Which, I mean, she looks fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
Demi Moore
absolutely,
is beautiful.
Yeah, Demi Moore is, she's well put together.
And that chick's 60, right?
She's got to be. I mean, she was older than us when we were watching her in movies when we were teenagers.
Oh, she's 10 years older than me.
Yeah.
So she's going to be 63.
She's 62 right now.
God bless her. She looks fantastic.
She does. She
Jesus
does
Christ.
not look like she's 62 years old.
Yeah, she looks fantastic. I am here for the Demi Moore renaissance.
Yeah, hopefully it keeps on coming.
Yeah. Do you want to give a brief synopsis of the film, or should we just dive into it?
Yeah, okay. Basically, as we were saying, she's, I guess, an actress who, I guess, her prime days are behind her as far as Hollywood goes. They're looking for younger, prettier, sexier. And right now she's at the stage where the luster is kind of gone. She's just doing a morning exercise show, and basically they're aging her out.
Right.
Her greasy scumbag of a manager or producer or whatever he is.
Yeah.
He is just like
excellently played by
brilliantly,
Dennis Quaid.
Yeah, brilliantly played by Dennis Quaid.
Yeah,
just,
he doesn't have a lot of screen time, but you just want to punch him
in
the
face
repeatedly.
So disgusting.
Yes.
He is just disgusting. And the thing is, he's disgusting. He doesn't really do anything physical to any of the women in the movies. It's just his appearance and the way he dresses and his mannerisms and how loud he is.
And obnoxious.
And that shrimp eating scene. Oh my God.
I'm glad whoever told the director to take that out, I'm glad that she did not.
Yeah.
There is so much symbolism in this film. Yeah. It is crazy. Crazy.
Back to the story, as many older actresses do in real life, she gets the opportunity to, I guess, try something that is supposed to revitalize your career, or what she's expecting to revitalize her career. But it's some mysterious thing called The Substance.
Yes.
And the results of which are quite unexpected.
Yes. According to IMDb, just a quick synopsis, a fading celebrity takes a black market drug, a cell-replicating substance that temporarily creates a younger, better version of herself.
Yes. In the most gruesome way possible.
Yes. This is not for everyone. This is rated R for a reason.
Yes.
This is absolutely body horror. This is on par with the best of the Cronenberg movies.
Yeah,
this
like The Fly and just
all that shit.
Pieces of viscera and
this is
mutated limbs.
Yes, if you have a weak stomach, I do not suggest you watch this.
Yeah, and I mean, kudos to them. I would say it's probably like almost entirely practical.
Yes.
There's like there's a bit of CG at the end, but it's not like gratuitous or seems out of place.
Yeah.
It fits with the rest of it, but most of it is 100% prosthetics and just
mayhem,
gore and stuff splattering all over the place.
Yes. I would love to see a return to this type of filmmaking with more practical effects.
It felt like a welcome visit to yesteryear. Because probably the last time I saw effects like this there was a movie called The Void, which is very, it's probably one of the better like sort of Lovecraftian sort of movies. And that had the gruesome practical effects that sort of reminded me of like back in the, I guess, 80s or 90s with like Reanimator and The Fly and From Beyond.
Yeah. So I'm going to get into it. Olive, I'm going to start with you because you couldn't finish the film, which is fine. This is not for everybody. This film is definitely not for everybody. What did you think of the pieces of it that you did see?
It was a very odd movie.
Mm-hmm. Did you find it gross?
Yes, it was definitely gross.
Yeah. And you ultimately decided to walk away, which is fine.
Yeah.
What part did you walk away at? I forgot.
I walked around the part where like she's getting her terminated.
Yeah. Okay. You held on for I think 70% of the film.
Yeah, that
maybe
was
80.
Yeah, that was after.
That was close.
I mean, it does ramp up after that point. Like it's
like a lot.
It goes from 0 to 900.
Yeah. So yeah, you probably you checked out right before it gets really. I mean, it was already crazy at that point, but
yeah, no,
but it gets super gruesome.
It's just the way that she looked, just like terrified me. So I had to leave.
I mean, I think it's kind of interesting because this is a body horror film. This is told from the perspective of this woman, and the underlying theme of this is how women see their bodies, how they're objectified, how others look at their bodies, how just everything. It's interesting. There is so much that happens in this film. It is a long film, but the way the story is told, like I was riveted for all 2 hours and 21 minutes.
Like like you said, it's a long film. It's almost 2.5 hours. And I really, I'm the one who I feel like, it's probably me and Olivia, who have issues with really long films. But I was entertained since, the first, second of the film. I was so invested. I wanted to see what would happen. I wanted to see how far this was going to go. And I wasn't disappointed at all. I thought that the film was amazing. And I didn't reach for my phone, at all.
Nice. That is the true testament to this generation that gets bored very quickly. So kudos, Coralie. Kudos. I also want to say that I have not seen Anora, but I cannot believe that it's better than this. This, to me, is the best movie of 2024. I will fight anyone that says otherwise.
I really want to see Anora now because I
really
want to see what
Anora
people
too.
are
Yeah.
I want to see what people are seeing to make it best movie of last year.
There's no way that Anora is better.
And
I
definitely want to see Mikey Madison's performance. I think that's how you say it.
You know what? Thank you for bringing that up. Let's talk about the women of The Substance. Demi Moore is a absolute revelation. I'm super excited. We are pairing this with The Last Showgirl with another 90s icon, Pam Anderson. And this is about getting older and sort of accepting yourself.
Especially, I mean, not just getting older, but women getting older in the entertainment field.
Yes.
That particular field especially. I mean, it
to
affects
women getting older.
I think it's true in any field, but that particular field especially. It's brutal.
It's absolutely.
It's probably the worst industry to get old in because you're only as good as you are when you're young and beautiful and
right. And they don't really. I mean, yes, June Squibb had a movie last year, but most of the roles, most of the stories being told are for younger women, for younger actresses.
Yeah, they're the ones who are the leads and the beautiful women that we grew up watching. They're now the mom.
Or the grandmother.
Or just some background character.
Right. Olive G, what did you think of the Elisabeth Sparkle character?
I thought she was sad.
Yes, absolutely. Did you feel bad for her?
Yeah, the way her clone kind of took advantage of her wasn't cool.
Yeah.
She did not respect the balance.
The balance, no, she did not. Gee, what did you think of Demi Moore's performance as Elisabeth Sparkle?
I thought that she was really good. I don't even know how to explain it. I felt so bad for her, and I really liked her character. I feel like as the film progressed, obviously she's overshadowed, but it doesn't make her any less moving, I guess.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with that. What did you think of Demi's performance?
I mean, if anything, I feel it made her performance even more moving because you see, obviously she did this because she wanted to extend her career or stay in that spotlight. I think that was very important to her. And now it's the way The Substance works where it's not really her. It didn't really do anything to her. It basically it made another person. And that person is just killing it, just crushing it, just taking her place. And
also eating so much into Elisabeth.
What do you mean by eating into her?
Just taking. She's a taker.
Yeah. No. I mean, there's that too. But the fact was, like, there's a point in the film where she's like, she's not respecting the balance. She calls up the thing, and the guy's like, well, you could stop it anytime you'd like it. Mm-hmm. By the way, whoever the voice was,
loves it.
Just creepy. Nothing. I mean, nothing's creepier than like a low, very calm voice.
Yeah.
You must respect the balance. There is no you and her. You are one.
Yes.
That sort of thing.
Yes. Oh.
And she's like, oh, so I could stop it? And the guy, they basically say, yeah, you could stop it anytime you want. And then she sort of like looks out at that big giant poster from her across from her window, which is just torture, by the way.
Yes.
The fact that freaking billboard is outside of her apartment staring at her. And she realizes, I can't do this.
Right.
And it's because like so much of her is invested in sort of like this fame. And even though it's not really her, she's still tangentially associated with this fame.
Right.
She can't give it up, even though it's destroying her. I mean, it's literally destroying her. This isn't like just some sort of like mental thing. It's physically destroying her. And she keeps it up. She goes back, and it's the balance is even further disrespected.
I was absolutely transfixed with Demi's performance. I mean, this is obviously a woman she's a little older than the director, but I'm sure she has had her fill of this life. I mean, we watched her grow up from young performer in like St. Elmo's Fire and all those other Brat Pack movies to now. And I mean, she looks fantastic. I mean, I'm sure she has the means to maintain and stuff, but if she didn't, what would that journey look like? So it's kind of interesting that she's put herself in this role where she kind of has to ugly herself up a lot.
I mean, if that's her uglying herself up, I wish I was.
No, I meant not when she's normal, but when she's later on.
Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, that's
prosthetics and stuff like that.
There's
movie magic.
There's movie magic going on there,
right? And she is terrifying.
But I think I recall we were watching like some of the interviews with the director and whatnot, and there was like I believe the director was working with her, and she was like, she came in and she was like, oh, you gotta put the lighting like this and like this, and the director was like, no,
you're not supposed to look pretty.
You're not supposed to look. We're not trying to hide anything here.
Yeah.
We have to show it. Show the age. And she was just like, all right, let's do this.
Yeah.
And you could see, she is an older actress now. Mm-hmm. As we've mentioned several times, she's phenomenally still looking great, but you could see it. You could see she is not the Demi Moore that was in Ghost.
No.
And so she had to like really put herself out there.
And that's got to be hard because this is now committed to film forever. So people are going to see that and they're going to be like, oh, remember that film where Demi Moore's a monster? But it's so integral and so important for the film to show that ugliness too. And I also want to talk about Margaret Qualley.
She was great, yeah.
Sensational in this. Wow. I mean, I've seen her in other things. I've always liked her, but I was, again, transfixed with the women in this film. This was a tour de force on all levels. The filmmaker deserves all the awards. I don't know why this did not win Best Picture. I do not understand it. I do not understand it. Of
all the ones that were like in contention, this was absolutely the most entertaining
and interesting. And if you think about like just the things that you could talk about around this film, the myth of being this woman that's coveted, but then also she's not immortal. She's going to age. And what does that look like? And what does that look like for women in that position that are in entertainment that suddenly were the talk of the town and are now a footnote on.
They find themselves like as disposable commodities.
Yes, exactly. But getting back to Margaret Qualley, so she's the younger version, the other self. And she's younger and prettier. And she's sort of at the beginning of the career. And how she basically, to your point, is just crushing it.
Yeah.
She has become this overnight sensation. And everybody wants to know her, wants to be around her. And yet, interestingly enough, even though she's parts of Elisabeth, she's also her own sort of entity. And she makes certain choices that impact the trajectory of the story. I'm going to start with you, Olive G. What did you think of the Sue character?
To be honest, she was kind of like, I don't really know how, like, I don't want to say she's annoying or like ungrateful, but like she definitely like overstepped her boundaries or whatever the hell.
No, I mean, I think you can say that she was ungrateful. She took advantage of the situation. She messed with the balance. She wanted everything for herself. She had no care for Elisabeth at all. After a certain point, she was just like, it was almost like, this is my life.
Yeah, I feel like it's sort of like I mean, I don't know if this was the intent, but it's sort of like the young versus the old.
Yes.
And it's sort of
this power struggle.
The power struggle of young versus old, where it's sort of like the young is like, it's my time now.
Right.
It's my time. Your time has passed.
Right.
You're pathetic. You're sad. You're disgusting. All you do is sit around and watch TV and eat. I'm out there. I'm doing amazing things. Everybody loves me. That's isn't that what it said on the flower? Everybody's going to love you. Mm-hmm. And for her, that's all that mattered.
Right.
And since that's all that mattered, and since this is her time, it doesn't matter what I'm doing to you.
Right.
It doesn't matter how much you're getting destroyed by this, because it's worth it. Look at how amazing I am now. Yeah, that's another example of, all right, old person.
Stay in your lane, boomer.
Yeah, exactly. Step aside. Yeah. Let the young people do their thing.
Gee, what did you think of the Sue character?
I loved her.
Yeah.
She was so cute. I just like Margaret Qualley.
Yeah, she's adorable. What did you think of her immaturity and just, I mean, let's be honest, selfishness? I mean, she did not keep the balance. She did not
respect it.
She did not respect the balance. Although she had cute freaking clothes. She looked like a Barbie doll.
She did look like a Barbie,
a real
with that
life
beautiful hair and those cute earrings all the time. She never wore pants around her apartment, though.
No. She reminded me of somebody else I know.
Okay. I loved her character. And I liked how different Elisabeth and Sue were, despite being, quote unquote, one. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Elisabeth is like old and she's seen as past her prime. She's aged out of her job. And Sue's at the beginning of it, like you said. But also just like their different personality traits. Like Elisabeth was always respecting the balance. Like even after the first slip up, you could say, which wasn't an accident, she still goes without fail along with the rules, even as Sue progressively takes more and more and more.
Yes.
And I just like the differences between them. Mm-hmm. Like they were really two different people.
Yeah.
But they were never seen as that, or at least not by the person on the other end of the phone.
Right.
Like he would never, ever, ever let them say she's doing whatever.
Yeah.
It was like there's two of you, or there's only one of you.
Right.
And I thought that was cool. I like the guy on the other end of the phone.
Did you think that Sue was justified in her actions?
I mean, no. I don't think what she was doing was okay, because obviously there were consequences. But I do understand why.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
She's... Like I said, they see each other as two different people. I'm sure she thought it was unfair that she missed out on a whole 7 days every other week because it was Elisabeth's turn or whatever. Mm-hmm. I'm sure she felt resentful about that. So I do understand why she did it. And like you guys said, she's at the beginning of her career. She's very young. She's immature. She's childish. So, yeah, I'm not surprised that she didn't respect the balance.
Let's talk about a particular scene. There's a scene where some stuff has happened. Elisabeth's had to pay the consequences. And she looks over to a shelf and she sees a gift that she was given. She opens it up and it's a French cookbook. And then she just goes to town, I guess, in her allotted time. And all she does is like create all this food. But there's something off. There's something sad. There's something crazy about this sequence. And at the end, when Sue reappears, she's just completely disgusted with what she sees.
And she's outraged, too.
And she's outraged.
Furious.
She's furious, yes. And I think that inspires her to take more from Elisabeth.
Yeah, she takes everything from her.
Right. And I feel like the secret door in the bathroom, or that little area that she created, that was intentional, because maybe she didn't want to see what was happening to Elisabeth. Because maybe if she did see it, maybe she would feel remorse. What do you think?
That could be it, or she might have just wanted her out of sight, out of mind. Without her laying on the floor, you could pretend there's no substance. You could pretend there's no Elisabeth. It's just Sue.
Right. What do you think of that?
I mean, yeah, G's got a point there. I kind of wonder maybe she did that because not only does it make it easier for her to do the things that she did, but she built the door before she started taking.
Being crazy, yeah.
So I'm thinking one of the reasons why she did that was, in my mind, Sue was basically young Elisabeth. Mm-hmm. And you don't really want to see yourself like that. In her mind, it's sort of like, oh my God, look what I'm going to become. Mm-hmm. That's my future laying on the bathroom floor right now. Mm-hmm. I don't want to see that. I'm just going to put it in a dark place where I don't have to really look at it. I just need to go into the dark room. I don't have to really see her that well. I just need to see that little spot where I stick the needle, and that's it. And so I kind of wonder if that was one of the reasons why she builds that. Yeah. Excellent craftsmanship, by the way.
Yeah.
For somebody who was basically born a week ago, she had some serious carpentry skills.
Yeah, for sure.
Tiling, everything. I mean, that door was seamless. You couldn't even tell it was there.
Yeah.
I wish I could do that.
I wish you could.
Yeah. And I kind of also wonder if, they never really address it, but I wonder if Elisabeth was like that when she was young.
You know, it's interesting that you mentioned that. I hadn't really thought of that, but that makes sense because they are the same
one
person.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it would make sense that as a young actress, maybe Elisabeth was bratty and whatever. But it's interesting that I felt like, and everybody feel free to chime in, but I felt like Elisabeth understood because she's obviously older, so she has the experience of hindsight. She was never really malicious towards Sue. She would complain about Sue on the phone, but she was never malicious. Whereas I feel like Sue had no appreciation, no regard, and hated Elisabeth.
I mean, Elisabeth doesn't show malice toward until she tries to terminate Sue.
Fair.
So she does show it at some point.
She does show it at some point, but let's also say she had been pushed to the point of no return.
That is true.
I mean, from where Elisabeth is in the moment when she decides to do the termination, there's no fixing that.
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't even think it was malice. It was just, she's going to kill me. If I don't do this, Sue is going to kill me.
And then she relents.
I guess she viewed herself as so worthless that she'd prefer Sue stay in the spotlight than lose any.
Quite possibly, yeah. I mean, she did. The first time she had the opportunity to order the termination kit, she turned it down just because she saw the big poster of her.
She said she can't. I can't do it.
I can't do it. She said, I can't take that away from her, I think she said.
Olive G, there's a scene very much in the beginning where a man from Elisabeth's past sees her and says, "You are still the most beautiful woman in the world." And she then later, after a night of drinking and loneliness and probably pity, calls this man up for a date. She then gets ready for the date. And at the door, she consistently stops herself to go back and change what she sees in the mirror. What did you think about that scene?
That she was being stupid and that she doesn't really need to change anything.
But in her head, she wasn't good enough.
Well, she really needs to get out of her head then.
Okay, fair. Do you think if she had gone on the date, maybe things would have been different?
Probably.
What do you think, G? If she had managed to get to that date, do you think things would have been different?
I think there's a possibility that, yeah, they could be different.
Had she already created Sue at that point?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the whole reason why she didn't go on the date.
Mm.
She kept seeing that billboard.
She kept seeing this is what people want, not me. They don't want this aged woman. And she kept second-guessing herself to putting more makeup on and covering up her chest. Mm-hmm. And to the point where it was just like, it was almost like she was just like, what's the point? I'm never going to be that again. And
then she winds up not going on the date.
She winds up not going. And that's, I think, if she had done it, she probably would have been happy. She probably would have realized, you know what? If she
would
had
have still taken her pound of flesh. Sorry, go ahead.
If she had gone on the date, I think maybe she probably would have found a way to be happy with who she was, and maybe she would have just ordered that termination kit after all. Mm. Because who needs that? She's fighting for this faded glory that she could never have again. Mm-hmm. And even with this stuff, it's still any glory she has is completely tangential, mm-hmm. because it's all Sue.
Right.
It's all Sue. I mean, yeah, they're one, allegedly. Mm-hmm. I think only maybe she felt that because she was feeling the need for that fame, mm-hmm. that Sue was getting. Mm-hmm. And perhaps that guy, I don't know if they ever named him. Fred. If she had gone with Fred, maybe she would have found that thing that is that next stage, that next chapter in her life where it's sort of like, yeah, we met up, we talked, we had a great time. I mean, that guy's going to be fawning all over her.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's not going to be chasing after Sue.
No.
Because he'll look like an old perv.
No, I think
not like the next door neighbor who was just a jackass.
Jerk too. Yeah. I think Fred would have just been happy to worship Elisabeth.
Yeah, he would have been over the moon. Yeah. And he would have totally fed her ego that need that she, because that's I think that's what she needed. Mm-hmm. She just needed
love.
She needed that, not even the love, she just needed that ego boost, mm-hmm. that somebody like Fred could give her. Mm-hmm. And but no, she second guessed herself and she decided, I'm just going to stay here and I'm just going to sort of like almost live literally in Sue's shadow. Yeah.
Well, do you think that she did it because in a way Sue is now the breadwinner and whatever earning potential Elisabeth would have had wouldn't have been nearly as great as Sue. So in a way,
I mean, I don't know. They never really go into any sort of financial thing, but I'm sure she was fine.
Possibly.
She probably could have just lived off her residuals from whatever mm-hmm. movies, and I mean, she was like an Oscar winner and whatnot. It didn't look like she had any sort of like massive drug habits mm-hmm. or entourages leeching off her or anything. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure if the money stopped coming in from sleazebag Dennis Quaid, it wouldn't have mattered. It really wasn't about money. It was just about that fame, that adoration. And if she could have gotten that adoration a different way, I think she may have actually been happy and she wouldn't have needed Sue anymore.
So she still would have gotten rid of Sue.
If she had started a relationship up with Fred, the need for Sue goes away.
Got it. Olive G, what did you think of Harvey?
Who was Harvey?
Harvey was that jerk. The one that fires.
Shrimp guy, yeah.
Shrimp guy, yeah.
Oh, he was annoying and gross and pervert, and I didn't like him. He deserved to die.
Yeah. What about you, Gene? What did you think of Harvey?
He was disgusting.
What about you?
He was 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag. He was so gross. I mean, even just
the greasy,
puffiness, like the shiny skin and the loud suits. Whatever. Like, what was he wearing? It looked like he was like, it was like the liner from like Liberace's jacket or something. and then he's just, that shrimp scene. Ugh. Just the gluttony and just sleaziness and just absolute not caring. And the way she's sitting there listening to him, just like sort of like sitting there patiently listening to him as he goes on and on, basically telling her, yeah, you're done. And then
respect. He just
leaves. She asked him a question and he was just like, hey, George. And he just leaves her. He just leaves the table and puts his arm around some crusty old dude. Yeah. And then at the end, like, he's surrounded by those crusty old dudes and he's wearing that loud suit. He was just so disgusting. There's that
scene where he's surrounded by those old dudes where he says that thing to Sue, pretty girls should always be smiling.
Yeah.
And thank you for bringing that up, G. I feel like that is a message that is said to many, many women. Not now, obviously, but when I was younger, whether it was being catcalled or whatever, there was always some man telling me to smile. And I think that that's very, very prevalent. That comes from a place of experience. And the director putting that in there was really, really great. I also want to highlight Harvey's just complete douchebaggery the first time we see him in the bathroom, where he's going to the bathroom and he's just loud and obnoxious and very, very unkind to Elisabeth, who happens to be in a stall.
I thought that scene was pretty good because the way the camera is set up, it's at the far end of the bathroom. I'm assuming the urinals are underneath it. Because Elisabeth goes into a stall, but he goes over to the wall and his mouth is in the camera. And you could hear, like, each time his lips press together when he's speaking, and he's disgusting. And I don't know if it was just me, but the way he was peeing sounded really weird, too.
Yes.
It sounded like he was, like, trying to squeeze out toothpaste. It was just coming out really weirdly. Like, it was not a steady stream. And I don't know if it's probably not important, but it made me feel gross.
It probably was intentional. I feel like everything in this film was intentional, from the set pieces to the costuming to the musical choices. There were times where that music just amped up my anxiety like 5 notches.
Yeah, the soundtrack was great. I would say especially so in the beginning. Just that noise that they would constantly play. Yeah, really well done.
Really well done.
I would probably say I liked the way the beginning of the film was shot more than as we went further in. I feel like there was like, I don't know, there was something more
substantial. Not
substantial, but it was more. It induced a greater sense of like anxiety or uncomfortableness. Just the way everything was designed, and everything seemed like really meticulous. And I mean, it was present throughout the whole film, but I feel especially those, like, the setup of the movie was just, I mean, perfectly done.
Yes, I agree. There's so much going on, and it's just, goddamn, chef's kiss. The script it's not dialogue heavy if you really think about it. However, so much is conveyed. I love the close-up of the faces and the eyes, and just, there's so much going on in the faces of the two actresses, and it's just, everything came together so beautifully in this storytelling experience. From where you start to where you end up, it is a wild, wild ride. And I think, to your point, what you just said, I think towards the end of the film, you kind of move into a more fantastical sort of storytelling experience where you don't know, is this really happening? Is this not happening? Is this just symbolism for something?
And it's so gruesome too. It's like we said, it's a throwback to those type of things. Like, I was getting like Cronenberg vibes, Raimi vibes.
Yes.
Just,
She is not shy about going to really dark, gory places in this film, and it just works. It really, really works as an allegory for the journey that that women have to go through. This is just amazing, amazing storytelling. I am shell-shocked at how good this was. I mean, I'd heard so many good things about it, and just this surpassed my expectations. This was just on a different level. This, to me, is possibly the best movie of last year.
What would you give it?
If I'm going to give this 1 to 10, I'm going to give it a 10. I don't know what would have made this better. This was a very singular, unique experience. My only regret is that I will never be able to see this movie again with fresh eyes, because the first time you see this, you are like, what am I even looking at? And you'll never experience that again. But I still think that you can, I still want to watch this again. Like, even now, I still want to watch this again. However, there is something about that first time watching this film. Like, you'll know now where things are going to fall, how things are going to happen, how the story ends. But there is something magical in that first storytelling experience. And it just did not disappoint. Everything in this film is absolute magic. 10 out of 10. No notes. What say you?
I'm not going to say it's perfect.
You're wrong, but okay.
Whatever. I really, really did like this movie. There were certain things that I would probably say towards the end that I wasn't really sure what was happening. And for me, that may have taken me out of it a little bit. I'm not going to say anything as far as like details as far as that goes. I would rather somebody see what they're seeing.
Yes.
But for me, yeah, that took me out of it a little bit. To me, it felt like the first part of the film was a lot stronger than the last part of the film. Not to say the last part of the film is not amazing and just, it's fun to watch if you like that sort of thing.
And it's like nothing you've seen.
It's like nothing you see. Some people may get grossed out by it.
I think that's the intention.
Yeah, that's kind of the intention. So overall, I would probably give this like an 8.
Really? Okay. Yeah. G, 1 to 10.
I was going to give this a 10 too. Okay. And I'm sticking by that. Okay. I thought I was going to be the only one to give it a 10, but...
Olive G, I know that you didn't watch the whole thing, but from what you saw, 1 to 10, what would you give this film?
Probably a 6.5.
A 6.5.
I
okay.
didn't really watch the whole thing. So.
Okay, no, that's fair. That's fair. I also want to reiterate how there is a lot of symbolism at the beginning of this film. There is a sequence that is very, very beautifully done. It reminded me of like the beginning of Up. There's
Oh, you mean with the
star?
The star. Yeah.
Yes.
That was nicely done.
Yes, I love that. It's just
it
like
showcased her career.
Yes, and I loved how as time went on, there's cracks. And I think that that's also symbolic of Elisabeth's journey. Everything in this is just, there's no minutia here. Everything is in this film for a reason. And I think you'll never experience that wow that you will the first time. But I think even on repeated viewings, there's so much to get out of this film. If you're a woman, I encourage you to see it. If you're a film major, absolutely run, do not walk, and go watch this. I think that if you want to understand women more, if you're an ally and you want to understand women and the struggle of women more, I absolutely recommend this film. I cannot say enough good things about this. This really turned my world upside down, and in a good way. I'm so gratified that Coralie Fargeat exists, because this is just top tier filmmaking and top tier storytelling. I am so gratified. And before we wrap up, I want to dedicate this episode of the podcast to my Wednesday night film discussion friend, Mian, who kept encouraging us to watch this film. It was unfortunately on limited release, so I wasn't able to see it on the big screen. Definitely a huge regret of mine. I would have loved to have seen this on a big screen. However, it is for rent, and you can see it on streaming on if you have Mubi, or if you want to rent it on the Prime app. Just amazing storytelling. I encourage everyone to watch this. It is not for everyone. This is a body horror film. But if you can see past it. There are so many other things going on in this film that we just don't talk about. And I'm super excited to pair this. I think we're crushing it on the double features lately. We're going to pair this with The Last Showgirl, which is also a story about, to your point, a woman in entertainment who's gotten older and what that looks like. And I think it's just, I mean, The Last Showgirl was good. It's not anywhere near as good as this. And this is like, it's a very similar story, but amped up like 9,000 degrees. So of the two films, I'm going to definitely recommend this one. Run, do not walk, and check out The Substance from 2024. Robbed of an Academy Award. Completely robbed. Please like and share and follow. And with that, we will bid you all a
good night.
Good night.
Good night.